Yo, what is good, my fellow Insomniacs? Welcome back to MOE Mentality on this gorgeous Monday. I was off last week. We had Valentine's and we had the Super Bowl, so a few family-oriented things. So I hope everybody was spending some good quality time with your loved ones, because I definitely was. But we are back now, and I am here to provide you with some motivational, educational, and inspirational content. If you have not yet, be sure to like the channel, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those push notifications. I would greatly appreciate it. Now let's get into it. Get things started, I do want to address a few things. I know the angle changes is probably bugging a few of y'all, and I'd like to apologize. I'm actually rearranging a lot of the equipment, getting ready for a lot of the different sets of content that's going to be coming out. So just bear with me, everything's going to come together, I promise you. Another thing, we are going on another Insomniacs takeover trip. Myself and two of the Insomniacs artists, we will have Frank Mills and we will have Haiasi Musiq. We will be traveling to Atlanta. They will be performing at Paradise Lounge and Cafe Circa Lounge. It is 2 separate nights, and they also have a studio session booked with a very well-known producer slash DJ. That content will be vlog style, and there will be a lot of stuff taking place, so stay tuned for that. It is happening next month meaning March. So we do have a few things going on, including the Open Wide Shut podcast coming out real soon. I will not give you no more details other than that with that podcast, because whenever we speak about it, again, we will be speaking about a lot. So those are the announcements, details as far as immediate future with Insomniacsentertainment. So I don't want today's title to be misleading. Yes, today we are talking about college versus YouTube. And this topic was brought up based off of a conversation or multiple conversations I've had with a lot of people based on how to further their education and if or if not they should further their education. And a lot of people I know are going to universities or trade schools to learn what they're doing, and then I know a lot of people that's also just taking the internet route, and they're learning from other people through things like YouTube and Google. And so I don't want today's caption to be misleading, because there isn't a right or wrong choice. And this isn't a versus as in me picking one, because currently I do both. And I'm gonna tell you, it's not about picking which one to do. In my opinion, it's strictly on how you execute the path that you decide to choose. People get stuck just going the route of getting educated through services such as YouTube, Google, online internet things. And there's nothing wrong with that. I want to plant this in your head. Nobody cares that you can halfway do 50 things if you're not credited in one thing. Meaning, if all you have is this education from the internet, from YouTube, you haven't done actual course classes, people aren't going to care or really give you the benefit of the doubt whenever you present all these different talents that you've learned on your own. Because you haven't picked one and ran with it. You haven't picked one and then got verified in that one. You've instead just spent a lot of time on all these different things. And that's where a lot of people crash and burn. So it's not the process of getting educated from the internet and things like YouTube that messes people up. It's when people go that route, they immediately assume that they have to be versatile with their knowledge. They assume that they have to learn everything rather than finding one thing and learning as much as they can about that and getting really good at that, and then learning how to stand out in that specific area. Whenever you manipulate that process, whenever you take the time, and we're gonna say put on that tunnel vision, whenever you get that tunnel vision and you find that craft and you really dive into it, later on down the line you can then find ways to add in your own creativity, your own uniqueness to it. And it being internet-based education, YouTube-influenced education, this uniqueness that you're throwing in is going to come in a lot sooner than it would had you have went the university route, because you don't have the fundamental book teachings that's going to keep you on that path of staying to the book. Kind of like whenever you're in school, you have the people that kind of stick to the book, and then you have the people that are okay with bending a few rules and things of that nature to add their own uniqueness to it. And so that's what YouTube and internet education allows you to do at a quicker rate. Of course, there's going to be some pros and some cons to any choice you make in life, and with this one specifically, getting internet-based education, in the long run you stand out a little bit better because you was able to do things a little bit differently. So that's one of the immediate pros that comes off of it. One of the immediate cons that comes off of it is, yes, this way of education, this way of self-teaching is a lot harder. It does take a little bit longer of time depending on the type of person you are, if you're able to adapt and overcome certain challenges. So that's going to be the immediate con, and I'm sure there's other subdivisions off of those. Let's say you take the route of going university, you go courses, you go getting grades and getting credentials to obtain your education. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and I understand there's multiple things that hinder the process of that even taking place for a lot of people. However, these people that go the university route, they go the class route, they still feel the need to turn to YouTube for either second opinion, or not even YouTube, or just Google or Wikipedia. They go there for second, third opinions, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. But a lot of people start failing whenever they get obsessed with this thought of they have to be versatile and they have to learn something else. So in my opinion, when somebody goes university route, they can still coexist with the education that's being brought up on the internet. They can use it for resources. I feel like the internet should be the #1 resource to back a textbook or to back any course of study that anybody's in. So there's perfect ways for them to coexist. That doesn't mean that you have to branch off and learn a whole nother trait just because the resources are there. You're getting the fundamental and the necessities as far as the resources that you're going to need in that field of work just by being at a university or in some type of course of credit. So you don't have to stray off a path. You're getting everything that you need because you've taken those steps off. Just like with the self-teaching route, this route also comes with its pros and its cons. So one of the immediate cons on this route is time isn't really with you. Rather than going the self-taught route where you can move at your own pace, if you go university or you go course of credits, that's not moving at your own pace. You have to move at their pace. So if you lack comprehension at any type of level, you might not be able to absorb the information that you're gonna have in order to make it successful in the field after you get out of this. So that's one of the immediate cons, is time is not with you whenever you go these routes. Some of the pros that come from this route is, of course, at the end of it, you get the credit, you get the verification of doing it, and that within itself goes a long way. And then, for instance, in some cases, depending on what you're going for and where you're going, for instance, me, I'm going to Full Sail University. So things like that comes with its own connections, its own interactions and network and things of those natures that can take you a little bit further whenever you get out of school, if you execute them properly. So again, this route has its pros and cons. You're not gonna avoid you're not gonna have any route where you avoid any pros or any cons. It's not always going to be a fair share of both, but you will have some on both sides. So to sum it all up, there's multiple ways out here to get educated on the things that you want to do and the things that you need to do. Now, whether you take the route in which you have to pay to get educated, or you take the route where it's just self-time investments to get educated, it doesn't really matter. You can reach the same destination as the person that chose the other route. It's all about how you execute that choice. And with that being said, I want you to really take a moment and think about what you want to put a lot of time into, because that's the common denominator. If you can't enjoy doing it for a long period of time, it's probably not the right thing for you to do, because no matter which route you take, whether it's university or the self-taught going internet route, you've got to pick one that's going to be the foundation, the one that you're really going to dive into and learn 110% of. So I want everybody to take some time and really think about that. Obviously, today's video wasn't for everybody, because depending on what you're wanting to do in life, you can't just YouTube search your way to like a PhD or something. You get what I'm saying? So for those that could take something from this, you could even put it down on a minimal scale. We could say that these things you want to learn is just hobbies. People go to school for hobbies. So take what you can from this and think about where you want to go. Think about what you want to dive into. Think about what you want to learn. And think about the proper investments on where to go to learn those things. That's what I want y'all to do. And that is it for today's episode of MOE Mentality. If you have not yet, drop me a comment below. Say whatever you want to. I don't care if you say hi, bye, hello, what's good. You can tell me where you at. It doesn't matter. Put a comment, because it'd be really weird when people's watching and they not talking and I'm here to talk to you. You get what I'm saying? Like the channel, subscribe to the channel, turn on those push notifications. Until next time.